Good morning, welcome back towards another video, and today is one of those days where I'm just going to catch up with you guys for the week when it comes towards gold making and all that jazz. Let's actually just log into WoW, have a look at what I've been doing for the week, because obviously I am back. We did cover that like last week, and then we had the all-round video that came out on Sunday. However, this is going to be more of a reoccurring thing. This isn't like set in stone video every week or something to that effect. More along the lines of like when I have time, I will do like this mega-sode thing where we make a cup of coffee and we have a chat and we talk about gold making and what we're actually doing. And obviously this week we're going to be talking about midnight, because I've been away for a while and there's been a lot of changes, and like even the shop has changed. Like what the hell. Also, I don't have the epic edition as of yet because yeah, obvious reasons. However, let's divulge from that tangent right there. We've got a couple of things in midnight coming up. What is my plan when it comes towards gold making and all of that jazz? So without further ado, I would like to first just go through my mailbox, because I've actually returned back to gold making, and if I can pull up Discord, we can have a look at what I've actually been farming. So on the gold channel, I've been quite active on the Discord, and basically I've just been talking about everything that I've been farming recently. So realistically, if we go all the way back to the beginning again, I've been farming up a lot of Sunwell to get myself started, because I went back into everything and I realized, oh, my auctions are really low. Like at the moment it's 69. Just think how low it actually is. And the gold value is really low. So I've got to actually get back into farming, because all I've been doing is just logging on for like 2 minutes a day, relisting everything for the past like year. So everything's just been selling and I've just been buying stuff because I can. And that's basically been about it. So I've really just been focusing on all of that jazz. So what did I actually get for the week? Well, doing Sunwell, I managed to get myself a schematic of the Justice Bringer 3000 specs, 150,000 gold on a region market average. I was posting this all the way in, and the guys were actually like, oh wow, that's banging and all that jazz. However, I will come clean about something. I had it on market value average just to see what it was on the market value. On my server, it's totally bloody different. It's the same thing with this one. The Primal Attuned Goggles, 167,000 gold. That's really hard to see. Thank you. But yeah, I also got a few other little nits and bits and everything. So if you see the Eternium Runed Blade plans, it was 39,000 gold on my server, but the region market average is 125,000. Obviously, it's going to be a lot more, because on the region market average across all of the other servers, it's obviously going to be worth a bit more, because generally not many people farm it up on all the different servers as my server, because obviously Argent Dawn is heavily farmed for transmog and all that jazz and recipes and everything. Just because there's a higher population density, there's more people farming, which will equate in more people getting those items, which also increases the supply that's on the auction house and then thus goes down. So that's why my server, it is for a lot less gold, because there's more people farming up stuff for gold. So I do it on the region market average so I can have a clear idea for you guys on what the average would be for you. So it can't be specifically tailored because I don't know your server. So I can give you the average. It's a much more efficient way of doing things. 20,000 gold for the Patterns of Embrace the Phoenix. It's tasty. As well as 12,000 gold for the Carapace Sun and Shadow. Ooh, that's nice as well. And then if we keep going down, I managed to actually sell something, which is the Iron Belt Guard of Fufu. I got that from Iron Docks, I believe, and I sold that for 12,000 gold. And then we got some nice ones. We got some more attuned goggles, 175. The Design Bold Living Ruby, 5,000. Nice. And then we got something else, which is the Embrace of the Phoenix, once again, a recipe. And then we got another one, which was the Chest Guard of the Sun, the leather Chest Guard of the Sun, 10,000 gold. And then we got the Hardened Corium Goggles, 198,000. Obviously, it's not actually worth that on my server, but on that going from all that. For the week as well, I managed to actually do a bit of Sunken Temple before I screwed up my recorder. So I've just gone on to something else. But I did 3 hours worth of runs for Sunken Temple. Managed to get the Silver Shell Leggings for 64,000 gold on the market average. My server, it's 10,000 gold. So yeah, and then obviously this morning at like 5:15 in the morning, Amy was asleep and Maddie was asleep. So I was like, I'm going to try and get a gold farm in. So yeah, with that being said, I managed to actually get something from that, because I was like, obviously Sunken Temple was screwed. It's gone bust with the recorder, because every recorder farm that I do is going to go into Worth It and get merged with the data set, because the more more runs we get, the better of an average gold per hour you get. So, and thus incrementally makes Worth It better. So even when I'm gold making, I can improve Worth It. So that's that. It just works like that. But I managed to get the Bow of Searing Arrows for 16,888 gold on that one. However, that one worked out quite nicely as well, because it's worth more on my server. But I also got the Thoroughly Red Nat Paggle's Guide to Extreme Angling. It goes for like 6,000 gold, and the market average is like 10,000 gold. So I managed to find that while doing Diamond West, by the way. I've been really enjoying Diamond West recently. So it's on this side, not that side. Because if you remember, I love Diamond East. But since I actually did that massive update on Worth It, covering all of the instances, if we go into like transmog instances, you can see that we've got a massive data set of loads of others with their averages. And then you can pull up the actual full-blown data set of farming on this, and it will give you a rough average, so you can see what specific items you can actually get from this. But that's Drak'Tharon Keep, for instance. But if we go down and we just go into the search menu and just type Diamond West, we can see that like the Sheep Shear Mantle, we've got Witch Fury. That's a really nice one, like two-handed sword. 17,000 gold on my server as well, and the sell rate's at 0.01, so I'd be alright with that if I actually got that. But that's besides the point. I've been trying to get back into gold farming when it comes towards everything, so that's what, because I've got like next to nothing, so that's what I've been doing. And then I've posted the Bow of Searing Arrows, 18,000 gold on the server, because it's currently going for like 31,000 gold, but that's like since the last time I updated and all that jazz. But yeah, things are doing all right, and in that sense. And then you got the Nat Paggle's Guide to Extreme Angling and everything. But with all that being said, you still got like the leather chest plate of the leather chest guard of the sun. My server is 700 gold. Obviously on the market average it's 10,000 gold. Same with the Corium goggles. They're 24,000 gold, but the market average is 192,000. So yeah, it gives you a better average across all the servers, but it isn't hyper specific. So there's no real way of actually making it super specific for like your specific server for these videos for me to show. So I can only go with the average. So there you go. So if I just give you both values, then it gives you a rough approximation of the range. So yeah, that's what I've been doing, just restocking for midnight and all that jazz. However, with that being said, my plan for midnight, after like 10 minutes of bloody talking, okay, I needed that cup of coffee, and when it comes towards midnight, it's a really straightforward affair. So I'm just going to log out of these characters because my goals in Midnight, when it comes towards a release, have vastly changed from like Warlords of Draenor or to that effect. Mainly for a couple of instances. The first one is obviously worth it. Obviously, my responsibility or self-imposed responsibility is worth it, and being able to show everyone the farms almost immediately. So I've got to do the farms almost immediately, which means I will have to focus on Corthana, my main, who is also my druid, and she does mining and herbalism. That plan is straight up that Midnight comes out, get her to max level as fast as humanly possible, and start farming up every single zone for multi-farms, which is mining and herbalism, and then the separate farms of just herbalism and mining, and getting those averages onto worth it, doing an update as fast as possible, get that done. Once that is all said and done, it is then move over to my alts, which is Dala GG, which is my demon hunter, who I made in Legion, obviously, and his main goal is leatherworking and skinning, and obviously the data we need for worth it is the skinning farms. I got to literally jump on those skinning farms like almost immediately after I've got the mining and herbalism, push that update. It is then update the skinning farms by doing those. Then following on to that, it is literally just leveling up that leatherworking as fast as possible, and then it's getting these guys into the main zones, which is 𝐆𝐀𝐿, my enchanter, and my tailor. Zathrash is my alchemist and scribe, along with not my horde druid, but Nyros. He's my blacksmith character, who I love very dearly. And then we've got the other Dala GG, who is my paladin, who, let's be honest here, he's just my jewel crafter and my engineer, so he does his jazz like all the time. And other than that, that is pretty much me boys. So Corthana, Dala GG, 𝐆𝐿𝐿, Zathrash, Nyros, the other Dala GG, who cover all the professions. Obviously Corthana has the fishing and the cooking ones as well, and we'll be doing those as well as all of that, because we need to get the fishing farms data and everything. So as opposed to just grind all the gold that you possibly can, like I did in like Mists of Pandaria and Cataclysm and just every expansion before Legion. Well, before Worth It even came out, just before BFA, or at the beginning of BFA, I think, because it released in October 10th, 2019. So that's when the first iteration of Worth It came out. And basically, that's my priority is to just get Worth It updated, so then you guys can see all the farms. So that would be my plan for Midnight, is just get on it as fast as possible, but also make a ton of gold at the same time, because guess what, the more hours I do on the mining and the skinning and all of the material farms and everything, that gets me a better average for everyone. So the more gold farming I do means everyone gets better data to get a better average overall for Worth It. So that works out quite nicely in that effect with Worth It. But also, it's covering those gold farms. So when I find a gold farm, do it for an hour, you record the video, and then you release it, because obviously you want everyone to see the latest gold farm, because obviously the Worth It update isn't going to get updated after every single farm. After one farm is done, it's update. I could do that, that's just stupid, but that would not make much sense. So my realistic plan is to do the gold farm, grab the import, make an announcement on the Discord, so I could just go into over towards announcements, and then I could just post it in here, and then just say, here's the import, you can import it into Worth It, and then everyone can just do their jazz by going into tools and then just press import and then just importing the string, and then when you go into my farms it will show up on my farms for you, and I can just attach the root on there for everyone to use. So that'll be the fastest way of getting those gold farms out almost immediately, and then pair that with the video so then everyone has a visual representation of the gold farm, and then you've got the import on the Discord as well. So that will probably be the precipice, so to speak. Well, not the precipice, but that would be the main focus of just getting those gold farms out as fast as humanly possible. At the moment, I've been focusing on TV head for my pre-prep at the moment, because obviously I want stuff to be running in the background from my other projects. So I've been working on my glitches for TV head to release, because obviously trying to make that into a thing as well. So I've been preparing that ahead of time so I can schedule them for while midnight is ongoing. I can just focus solely the whole of March just making content as much as possible with the amount of free time I have. So that's probably where it's going to come in, where I'm probably going to generally ask for some help as well when it comes towards data collection, because if I tried to do it all the time, I probably wouldn't sleep, as well as like with my responsibilities of like work and the baby and Maddie. So I probably will ask for help. I'm pretty certain if I asked a couple of people, they'll give me a hand when it comes towards like material farming and all that stuff. With that being said, so with midnight, that's my plan. It's basically run that list very linearly. Minor herbalist, then my skinner and fishing, and get those material farms done, then level everyone up to a suitable level where they can do maximize all of their professions as soon as possible, and then I can dive bomb on that. So that's my plan for midnight, and yeah, pretty much. So all being that, let's just open the mailbox as we're on this Brutosaur. At the moment, I've got 125 mails, 58,000 gold in the first one. So let's have a look, shall we? Talon Guard Van Brace of the Aurora, 4,000 gold. Anything decent? The Eternium Runed Blade. That plans that I got from Sunwell. 17,000 gold I managed to sell it for in 4 days, apparently. That's not too bad. The schematic of the Justice Bringer 3000 is 6,700 gold. That's not bad. And then obviously the Fufu the Fufu belt guard. I don't know why I find that so funny. It's just I posted it in the gold chat. I was just like it's just a belt of Fufu. It's Fufu. He's coming to get you. Yeah, I can just imagine some bolstery orc with like a beard. Hello, my name is Fufu. It's just like, oh my god, help me. 12,000 gold for that, and then the polished orb of the Aurora, 2,800 gold. So not much on that one. So let's just open up all that mail, and then we'll go from there. So if we pour all that gold in. And then close it because it will automatically open all my mail. And then the last bit is it was negligible. It's only 1,481 gold, so it's about 60k for doing some farms. And I did actually manage to get the Sunwell in the data set. So on the region market average, you can see that with the amount of farming that I actually did, which was quite a few hours because I was awake at like 3 a.m, just farming up stuff while the girls were asleep. On the region market average, it's 131,000 gold per hour, but on my server, it's 12,000 gold per hour. So you can see how it varies so differently with just farming stuff up with like those data sets. So just take that for a grain of salt. It's like my runs of Black Fathom Deeps says 669,000 gold on the region market average. Gold per hour is 42,000 gold for my server. Still okay, but like the disparity is there for my server versus the region average, if you know what I'm saying. So the next stage is that is one thing I do wanted to talk about. You know, the pre-patch with everything. So I checked out the pre-patch, and obviously I've been doing Battle Pets and Lore Walker. I've still got Northrend Cataclysm, Pandaria, and Shadowlands to complete. But I will say one thing. The pre-patch, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing the pre-patch. That is boring as hell. It's just play around and just like Twilight Highlands and that. I'm just like, oh, no thanks. It's like, I don't know what it is, but you go back a few years and I would be alright with just like, yeah, I'll grind out all those tokens, man. And then I'm like, I look at it now after taking like a break and I'm like, I'm not feeling that. I'm not going to do that. Bugger that. I'm not doing the pre-patch. What, for 1 mount and 3 pets? No, thank you. I'll just do some gold farms on Dire Mall, for instance. So, yeah, I'm just trying to bolster my auction house as much as possible before midnight. And that's what I'm doing. And for this week, it's just been thingy. So, yeah, just bolster my auction house. I'm not doing pre-patch. Looks boring. I did the intro. Wasn't impressed. So I just went, I'm just going to cut my losses and just go back to gold farming and my lore walking. Because I do like other things in the game. So just been doing that, realistically. So actually, screw it. While we're actually got the video, it's at 22 minutes right now. Obviously, I'm going to edit stuff and all that jazz. However, let's just let's load up a couple of things. So the one thing I do want to check out before I jump over towards my other thing is materials. So with the actual materials into like the professions and everything, obviously everything's going to be highly valued at first, and then it's going to drop as far, like it will find an equilibrium, because obviously the supply will exceed the demand at some point, and then it will find a baseline price. Usually that's very low because obviously the region auction house merge with everything back ages ago. I can't remember explicitly when that happened, but let's just be quite frank, shall we? The materials are obviously going to go up in price, so it's best to get on the material farms as fast as humanly possible. However, I'd be remiss if I didn't explain a couple of professions. When it comes towards like the beginning of an expansion, if you're generally trying to make gold as fast as possible, materials first, but don't neglect a couple of professions. Your crafting professions are cool, like your blacksmithing, your leatherworking, your tailoring, fine. Understood. However, please don't neglect your inscription, because inscription's really bloody powerful at the beginning of an expansion, especially when it comes to making Dark Moon decks, for instance. Dark Moon decks are something to get on as soon as bloody possible, and that's mainly due in part that everyone will just buy those Dark Moon decks because they are usually or typically the best trinket you can roughly get buying off of the auction house for like your max level. So people generally gravitate towards those. Get on your Dark Moon deck for your scribe. So this lovely young man here, he is, yeah, like, so with inscription, get on your Dark Moon decks, get on your pigments and your inks. So all of the herbs, everyone doesn't really talk about this part all that often. The pigments and the inks sell like incredibly fast at the beginning of the expansion. So even if you just take the herbs that you've just farmed up, turn them into pigments, and then immediately... Oh, I haven't even been on this character yet. Yeah, it's been a while. Seriously, just with your inscription, yeah, the pigments are so powerful with everything that it would be foolhardy not to actually try it. So when I'm saying with that is like make the inks and sell the inks, or sell the reagents that you can get from milling as well, because people will just buy them up at the beginning of an expansion. You can see this in Worth It. Like if we go into flipping and we just go over towards milling, is like, okay, fine, we can have a look at what is my config. Oh, it's on my custom. Okay, fine. So with that, like milling stuff and everything, you can obviously mill stuff to make different types of inks, and that's cool and everything to get a idea on how everything goes. But if we go into my flips and we just go over towards like profit wise, it's like your lure drop at the beginning of an expansion. Do you remember at the beginning of War Within, lure drop milling 1,000 of the herbs, which in my case was just the copper rank of lure drop, and just basically milling them, and then just turning them into the pigments. It like was like an extra like 10k at the beginning of expansion. So don't forget that stuff, because it's really, really handy in order to just get a good idea on how much gold you can actually make with that. The same goes with like alchemy. So with alchemy at the beginning of an expansion, I haven't done much because obviously I've been preoccupied. Sorry. But it was like random things, like with it was like your arriving samples and everything, but went like crazy as well. Potions and elixir masters, and just trying to get like better transmutes. If you remember your transmutations with alchemy to get more materials that way, that was really good at making gold. And the same can be said for jewel crafting as well. So with your prospecting, for instance, we go on to the old Dala GG boy, and prospecting's really good because you can take the ores that you've mined up and you prospect them for the gems. You could sell them uncut and still make a bigger profit, because at the beginning of the expansion, not many people are actually doing that. So you could go into towards prospecting and you can prospect just loads of stuff for the uncut gems, sell those on the auction house. Obviously, make good use of the Worth It flip recorder. So you got my flips right here. This is all my custom flips. That's cool and everything. However, you can just go into tools, go to the flip editor. You just put in your ins, your outs, and then you can save it and it will show in my flips. And then you've got your own custom flip, so you can see if it's profitable for you based on your averages that you've managed to get. And that's just something I would say very much is a good idea in order to do. You don't have to do the uncut gems. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just telling you what can be good for you. And it comes with the gems, of even cutting the gems. Highly would focus on the ones for tanks and also healers. You can do the DPS ones, but those ones tend to drop fast in gold first. So I would rather go for a bit more of a sustained one, which is like your gems for your tanks. That's the one that proves quite helpful for me. But yeah, and the same with disenchanting, with enchanting as well. You want to make good use of probably your tailoring or leatherworking, depending on which material starts dropping in price first. I would probably say skinning is probably a safer bet than tailoring, but we'll have to see. That's a play by ear type thing. But generally, you either use your tailoring or your skinning to make braces generally, and then disenchant those for the materials for enchanting, and you just sell those raw on the auction house and they'll sell. Or you just make enchants and sell those. At the beginning of the expansion, everyone wants to gear up fast, everyone wants to gain thing, and that's one way of doing it. That's why I'm not so big on like the leatherwork and tailoring, blacksmithing and creating the crafted gear. Don't get me wrong, you can make a lot of gold with that. However, generally people are going to want the mats, because you can't really do anything without the mats. So it's like kind of like trying to drive a car without any fuel. You kind of need the mats in order for the car for it to run. If you get my drift. So if you can provide that, people are going to just snap it up at the beginning of an expansion. So yeah, that's one other thing that I would like to actually talk about, and I've talked about that for about 8 minutes. So now let's jump on to what I've actually been bloody doing. I've just realised I just recorded like 15 minutes of me talking without actually pressing the record thing. I've made a game. So with TV Head, yeah, I'm gonna have to redo this all again. So let's do this like we didn't just screw that up majorly. Let's just dive into the game. Go into the settings, turn down the volume, and then we'll pretend. Yeah, we'll pretend. So start off this with TV Head. Let's move the camera back over because we're gonna have to redo all this all again. I made a game, TV Head, while I've been away, while Mad was like, while we were in lieu. If I had like 10 minutes, I would just work on and make a game. I was like, I basically set myself a target. Can I make a game with 0 money? Turns out you can. If you make every asset yourself, everything you see, you draw yourself, and I think you can tell I've drawn all of this and animated everything. But I did make a thing called a language system. And basically every one of my friends, a lot of them all speak different languages. And I've made a language system. So like French, Polish, Latvian, German, Portuguese, Dutch, Italian, Swedish. They're all the languages that are in there at the moment. That data table, if you know programming, is huge. With every different phrase, because it depends on context as well with a lot of these languages, what you're going to say, because it can mean something totally different in another language. So what you would say in English could sound different in Latvian. Obviously my wife's Latvian, she speaks Latvian and Russian, but with Latvian I was like, that this is obviously do that, because that's an easy language translate, because I literally have the translator right there. I could do the same for Russian, but I haven't done that as of yet because font styles and all that stuff. It just means I have to do a little bit of extra work, and I want to do all the other ones. Obviously my best mate is Portuguese, so I did Portuguese so he can play my game in Portuguese, because we both have the same humour of just like stupidity. This TV Head is not meant to be serious in any sense of the mean. I literally just started making it out of just like frustration. I wasn't building anything, and also I like to have a laugh, and obviously my humour is not everyone's humour. My humour is kind of like a dark dystopian, it's basically like South Park. South Park is my humour. So yeah, it makes me laugh. If it makes me laugh, it will make it into a game. Pretty simple, really. So let's just jump back into the asylum, because yeah, I just recorded the whole thing, and I'm totally not showing you the same thing. I think there's a crazy man in the asylum. You can punch him, his head explodes. He's dead. I wanted to. I at first it was like a 2D platformer type thing where I'm like, oh okay, it's easy to do the animations and everything. It just takes a bit of time to do. However, I'd be remiss, and I made a crafting system. Why? Because I can. That is literally the reason. Obviously, potatoes for vodka makes sense. You can use that to make the vodka thrower. and then you can use a hypermatic reactor. Or you could get the hypermatic reactor from this in the crafting section. You use max lax, iron and thorium ore. Do not exceed 1 teaspoon. Side effects are rectal bleeding. I told you, South Park humour. It's not funny for everyone, but it's funny for me, so it makes it into the game. And it's things like that, the mecha gauntlets, grav boots, and all that stuff. Is Chino core, grav amp, danger. Improper use could result in being crushed into a singularity. Not meant to be serious. You use brains for this, apparently, to make that. It's like destroys the toughest of defenses. Yeah, use it to destroy potatoes. And then you got like goals. I was like, okay, there's easy goals like your exploration where you just beat people up. There's like inferno processing, human recycling, the machine works level 1, level 2, spanner works with like Spanky. Spanky is this dude that I made. Literally, it's just weird. Drunken Dragon, all that stuff. Petrov's Domain. And then you've got your bosses, like Mr. Biscuits. If you saw the TV head thing before I went away, you know who Mr. Biscuits is, and you know that Terry pretty much F's him up, if you know what I'm saying, right at the end of the episode. So I think you can tell what happens to Mr. Biscuits and his triple ass cannon. However, you've got Baronetta Rainbow. She is basically a hippie that turns everyone into love zombies. Billy Bob Prophet. I think you can tell who that is. Yeah. Petrov Pooh. He is in charge of the vodka mines. Mecha Karen. If you go back to South Park with the like Mecha Streisand, Barbara, Barbara. Mecha Karen, Mecha Streisand, basically the same thing. Just take a Karen and turn her mecha and just put her in a shop. Really that simple. Doesn't have to make sense. It just has to. It's there. It's like Lord Mayor Aubergine. Mayor Aubergine. He's just an aubergine, so he's a massive dick. I found that funny. It made it into the game. Lord Cuckington. Because I can. It's things like that. It's just not meant to be serious. It's just supposed to be stupid for the sake of being stupid. And just have a laugh, because I think everyone takes a bit things too seriously at the moment. I think people need to blow off a bit of steam. So been working on this when I've had a chance of just being stupid, and I've enjoyed making this in while I've been away. And obviously you got your items and all that stuff. You got settings like music. Yeah, and anyone lazy, you just press recommended and it will do it for you. Because yeah, obviously got a couple of bugs right here. Like I can equip something like, let's say vodka thrower. Oh look, Terry moved to having his vodka thrower. Oh look, he's got a flamethrower. Really that simple. And like if we like zoom out of this, you can go into like things like inferno processing. There's like demons everywhere and the butcher boys. Yeah, like Spanner works. Let's show you Spanky for a second, shall we? Go on then. Let's have a look. Like I got things like working in the background, so it just looks a bit more immersive. But you go over to this guy. Here's Spanky. Speak to him. You can buy a buzzsaw for 100 points, and industrial buzzsaw, perfect for cutting through steel. You can use that to make things. Maybe the grinder gauntlets. Maybe. Obviously, yeah. So yeah, TV head is just something I'm working on. Well, have been working on for the past little bit. All that's left on the game is like the cinematics, really. So with this game here, it's like cinematics is just what's left and bug fixes, and then I can just release that. And that's a game that doesn't take itself seriously. There's no hyper optimization. It's like, okay, so I want to kill people. Yeah, okay, fine. Okay, cool. You do that. Play against the bosses. What are the boss fights? It's just a mini game to beat a boss, and then you'll get a silly cinematic afterwards, before and after. Because I thought that would be funny. It's stuff like that. Just make a game that's just fun, and then just release it. That's basically my purpose at the moment with TV Head. But I've been working on like the glitches, because obviously TV Head's not going to go on Dala GG. So I was like, okay, fine. It will go on its separate channel, and then I'll go from there. Because obviously I want to build other stuff as well as my Worth It and Dala stuff. So make it into a studio. It's like, you got the Void books, that'll have its own separate channel. That's it. And then you pre-prep a load of stuff, and then you can alternate between projects. Because obviously I'm going to update Worth It, go into gold making, do all that stuff. But I've focused it, instead of being like sporadic and everything, because that just fries my brain, is like one thing at a bloody time. Yeah. If I don't find it fun, I ain't doing it, is my new philosophy for everything. And yeah, basically, if I don't find something fun to do, I'm not going to do it, because chances are it will show through the bloody video, and or the actual game. It's like, oh, he wasn't actually enjoying himself doing that. Then clearly it's going to be self-evident that to other people that, oh, this is pretty crap. It's like, yeah, obviously. So that's my approach for gold making at the moment as well. If I'm not enjoying myself doing that gold farm, I don't care if it's like, if that's the optimal play that you need to do. Nah, I'm not doing it. I don't find it fun. I'm playing games for fun. I'm making games for fun, and if it don't make me laugh, I ain't doing it. It's really that simple. I think that's my takeaway from like a year being off and just having everything be put into perspective, is like playing a bit more of a long-term game, but that just enjoying yourself at the exact same bloody time, because life is short and you might as well just enjoy yourself. Especially when it comes to games, don't take it too seriously. It's like gold making. It's like, okay, this is the most hyper optimal play. You need to all jump on enchanting, for instance. It's like, oh, you need to do that. Well, I don't enjoy that. I don't want to do that. Oh, but that's the most optimal play. It's like, nah, I'm just gonna go farm Diamond Mall. I find that more fun. It's really that simple. I'm just doing that. So I found this fun to do, so I've been making this when I've had a chance. Haven't really touched it for like a couple of months, but yeah. So I'm working on my like glitches and stuff. I want to do like 52 of these, but I've got 14 at the moment from the original episode, and it's just weird, abstract stuff. Not serious in the slightest. So yeah. Okay, so I'm going to have to wrap up this video because I'm looking at the thing and my wife's just messaged me from downstairs that we need to go shopping and sorting all that stuff out. So, good talk. It was nice to catch up with you guys. That's my plan for midnight. That is what I've been doing with TV Head and all that stuff. If you want to have a bit more of a chat, come to the Discord, speak in general. You can ping me if you like. It's probably the easiest way for me to actually see, because otherwise I usually just brush over stuff if you don't ping me. So yeah, feel free to ping me. But other than that, if you want to chat, come to Discord. Other than that, I'm going to get onto gold farming, doing some more pre-preps, and then I'll let you know with the next big mega-sode episode what I'm actually going to do. So have a lovely rest of your day. My coffee's out. I'm going to have to make another cup of coffee in a second. So take it easy, and I shall see you soon. Have a good one.